merci à tous ceux qui sont venus pour votre présence massive. Thank you very much for your impressive presence today in Paris, and I think that your massive presence is a clear sign that freedom and democracy in Iran is stronger than the oppression and the violence of the Mollah regime, dear friends. You know as I do, that they have tried to stop and to forbid this meeting. But, and they failed, because you're here. And it's the proof of the fact that, France is a real country with rule of law in contradiction with Iran. Even when the authorities here in this country doesn't like a meeting, we can organize here a meeting to free Iran. I have to tell you, I take the floor here in the name of former prime ministers, former heads of states who have sent an important letter on the future of Iran to the current leadership of many of our countries. And in that letter of political leaders, we are requesting a fundamental change in the policies towards Iran and towards the Mollah regime. We think, with these leaders, that we need to stop the soft politics of appeasement towards the Mollah regime. To think that we can make an agreement with the Mollahs in Tehran. To think that there are some moderates in the Mollah regime. There are no moderates in the Mollah regime in Iran, dear friends. The only thing what there is, the Mollah regime, let's say it like it is. The Mollah regime is a regime of killers, of criminals, who kill, who execute, who hang their own sons and daughters. What happened the last months in Iran is awful. Last year, nearly 600 young people have been killed, hanged, executed, and our memories are going to them. This year, in the beginning of this year, nearly 300 young people, because they protest against the regime, have been killed, executed, hanged in Iran. And in the last month, in May, we have seen an orgy of violence by the Mollah regime. Every day, nearly 4 young people have been killed, have been hanged. And their only crime is what? Their only crime is to ask for a free and democratic Iran, dear friends. So what we are asking for, and I hope that it can be supported by all of you, is that the leaders in the West develop new strategies and new policies to fight against the regime and not to appease the regime in Tehran. And that means, dear friends, 4 concrete things what we want to do, where I hope we can have your support for. The first is that the Revolutionary Iranian Guard and their paramilitary units will be declared terrorist organizations the fastest as possible. And that it is done without ambiguity and without exception. They are all the same. they are all killers. The second thing what we need to do is that we need a significant extension of the sanctions against the leadership in Iran. Today, there are 36 organizations, Iranian organizations, that are under sanctions of the European Union. There are in total today 216 individuals that fall under the sanctions of the European Union. Well, we think that is far too low. The whole backbone of the regime in Tehran needs to be put under international sanctions, dear friends. The third thing what we need to do in such a new strategy of the international community is to prepare with all democratic organizations at the inside of Iran and in exile an alternative. And that alternative, let me be clear, needs to be based on the 10-point plan of Madame Rajavi. You know better than I do what are these 10 points. But let me give a few of them. Free elections in Iran, freedom of expression, abolition of the death penalty, the separation between church and state, and the equality of women and men. That are the basis of this future for Iran. And finally, we cannot wait. The international community has to prepare also the future of Iran and the economic recovery of Iran, because the actual Molech regime is doing a lot of harm to ordinary citizens, men, women, companies, industry, economy in Iran. So we need to prepare already today, instead of trying to make a deal on the nuclear weapons. If we make a deal, Molochs will not respect it. We know how they are. What we need to do is to make another agreement. An agreement between all the international community for an economic recovery program to prepare the post-Mollah regime. That is the new strategy that the international community needs to develop the fastest as possible, instead of trying to appease and giving the impression that there is no alternative for the Molochs. There is an alternative for the Molochs. You are here and the people are in the street of Tehran today. So, let's from here, in this beautiful place here in Paris, sound and launch the message to the international community. No to the regime in Moloch forever. No to a new dictatorship, whatever the nature is. Yes to democracy and a free Iran. Thank you.